Grand Rising Beloveds. My name is Sheena with the Way of Namaste, and today I wanted to come on and drop in together. We have Gene Key 6 that we're navigating right now, so I'd love to share just a little bit about this Gene Key, along with a prayer and a Celtic cross tarot reading. So if it feels in alignment, I invite you to drop in with me. Maybe today you want to make some cacao or some tea, maybe just bringing some water so that we can bless and charge this water, which you can later drink or spread upon the earth. But for this time, I just welcome you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing this moment to drop in together. Let's go ahead and become more aware of our breath, turning our attention inward. It might feel good to close down our eyes for this, or even just soften the gaze and just slowly bring our attention internally. How are we feeling? How are we doing? Let's really take a moment to check in. Let's go ahead and take the deepest breath that we've taken all day long, breathing into the nose, and maybe letting it out with a sigh, out through the mouth. Maybe doing that a couple times in your own rhythm, just really beginning to arrive. This is a big gene key that we're navigating right now. It's the shadow of conflict. We can certainly see conflict in the collective all around us. It's the gift of diplomacy, and this might not be the one that we see quite as often. The peacekeeper. In its most divine essence, this is peace. And what we realize about peace is that this is something that we cultivate from within us. It's not something that we absorb from around us. We create it. Right now, we have fertile, rich soil to alchemize, returning non-love back into love, and that's no small feat. It can feel overwhelming when we see so much conflict. But this is our invitation now to see, what are we triggered by? What's actually activating the root of us? And through this activation, how does it inspire us? What changes do we make? Do we treat ourselves and others differently? Do we share our stories from a different perspective? How do we cultivate peace? Do we have a tool? Do we have practices? Or do we expect peace to come from outside of us? That the next book is going to unlock peace? Or the next political campaign will unlock peace? Or do we have this idea that somebody outside of us is going to save us or rescue us or change everything for us? What if there was nothing outside of us? What if there was only the inner landscape? And everything that we felt in the inner landscape, what if that became our sacred responsibility? Our ability to respond to whatever activated us, this was our work. We could say our karma is our dharma. We become activated as activists to make sometimes radical changes. And it all starts from how we treat ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, how we love ourselves, how we create pockets of time and space to experience peace. When is the last time that you gave yourself the space to experience peace? Maybe it was this morning watching the sunrise with your bare feet out in nature. Maybe it was after you poured your prayer into your cacao and you were sipping it, while the hummingbirds were eating the sweet nectar around you outside the window. Maybe peace was having authentic conversations with someone that you love, just feeling the intimacy of being exactly who you came here to be in the company of somebody else. Maybe cultivating peace was taking the day off of work and saying, today you're going to have a bubble bath and you're going to treat yourself to a nice meal. Maybe when I ask you when is the last time you cultivated peace, you don't know. It has been a while. Maybe it's the 3 minutes in the shower that you have before you have to run off to the next thing. Invitation is to notice. How diplomatic are you? Are you still experiencing a lot of polarity around you? Black and white thinking. It's yes or it's wrong. It's left or it's right. It's good or it's bad. Or have you already begun the alchemy of that process inside your own inner landscape? And you're seeing beyond polarity. You're seeing beyond right and wrong. You're seeing that truth doesn't always have a capital T. Somebody's truth gets to be their truth, and it doesn't have to be true for you. And your truth gets to be your truth, and it doesn't have to be true for others. And when we can allow one another to experience our truth, maybe we can all find peace. We can all experience peace. Maybe we can see that peace is not about having to be right. It's about allowing everyone's voice to be heard, allowing everyone to feel seen. So, this is just our springboard for our tarot reading this week, is noticing. Are we in environments of conflict? Are we feeling conflicted? Do we start fights with ourselves and others? Or are we accessing that gift state a little bit more? In the group chat, we're not the one arguing, but we're the one creating unity. This divine essence of peace is readily available for all of us. But it starts from personal responsibility to create it for ourselves and to know that we deserve to feel peace. You know, my beloved and I had a long conversation this morning. This is a prominent one in his hologenetic profile. And we were just giving space to share about what it feels like in our hearts with what we're seeing right now, with what we're experiencing right now. We gave it a space, not to change it or to fix it or to think that we could take on the whole world. But we just allowed space to be together, to share from the authenticity of our hearts around not just the love and the light, but the whole spectrum of all of it. And together, we got to make public declarations witnessing one another in our claiming to say, this is how I'm going to create peace for myself so that it emanates out of me, so that I'm living from the inside out rather than from the outside in, expecting peace to find me from out there when there is no out there. Let's take a deep breath together. Let's go ahead and drop in with a little prayer, and then we will begin our Celtic Cross Tarot reading. As always, we align with the highest and greatest good for ourselves, for each other, and for every living being throughout all time and all space. This is a temple of sovereignty. This is a reading to be shared, but maybe none of it resonates. I invite you to send it all back, to take only what matters to you, what means something to you, and the rest of it, don't hold on to it. You get to choose. You get to be the diplomat of your experience of what you let in and what you choose not to. And that begins right here in our prayer and in our reading. So take what serves you and leave the rest. We call upon our beloved light from within each and every one of our hearts. Let's open now to the living wisdom of peace, honoring the shadow of conflict through the gift of diplomacy into the siddhi, the most divine essence of peace. Today we invite these cards to become mirrors of truth and guides for our collective path. May these cards be transmissions for our soul. And we ask Spirit to move through us, to speak to us. Remind us that even in tension, harmony is waiting to be born. So it is, and so it shall be. Taking another deep breath in and out. So this week we begin at the heart of the matter with the Seven of Pentacles. So we've been in a season of working hard, of putting in the time, of also practicing patience, and for many of us being within a pause, looking at what we've cultivated and wondering if this harvest is going to bear the fruits that we long for. This mirrors Virgo Solar Eclipse energy, where we are reassessing our efforts. We are refining what is essential for our path and what can we let go of. And when we know this, when we set clear intentions with this, and we begin to prepare our planting with this energy, then we can cultivate the seeds most in alignment for us. So our challenge or our opportunity this week is the Three of Pentacles. So this week is about collaboration. It's about asking, how can I work together without falling into conflict? So this week, how can we harmonize our gifts, honoring our differences and building with diplomacy instead of division? Again, creating a roundtable where every voice gets to be heard. Where we are coming from in the past is the Ten of Cups. So behind us is the vision of unity and joy, a glimpse of what peace can look like when our hearts come together. Many of us have this memory sustaining us right now, reminding us that true fulfillment, this wealth that we're all looking for, it's found in connection and belonging. Maybe we've felt other times before this time of Lemuria, in harmony with the rhythms and the cycles of nature and the phases of the moon. Maybe we remember a time of unity. And maybe that vision is giving us the sustenance that we need right now to keep pressing onward. Because what we're conscious of right now is the Tower. So many of us know this card well. The Tower crashes. Right now, many of us can see, we're fully aware of these old structures that are crumbling, Change is undeniable. We can all feel it. We're in eclipse season, and this eclipse is amplifying that tower energy, clearing illusions, shaking foundations, providing the fertile, rich soil for deeper peace that we can build upon. So what comes up for us in the future, in this moment, is the Knight of Pentacles. So ahead lies steady, grounded progress. Though change can still feel a bit sudden now in eclipse season, what follows looks to be slow, sustainable growth. So this night reminds us that peace is built brick by brick, act by act, devotion by devotion. This is the message we've been getting all Virgo season and every time that Virgo archetype comes around us. Steady, grounded progress. It's not about how fast we go, it's about how intentional our steps are. When we choose the path of devotion, we're actually serving the highest and greatest whole. We're allowing life, spirit to move through us, to inform us. So what's coming up under the surface right now that we're not fully conscious of is the Devil card. So beneath it all, there's still shadow patterns of fear and attachment and illusion that are still holding sway for us, especially in the collective right now. We certainly have been seeing conflict. And this conflict arises when these unconscious patterns of fear go unexamined. The Devil card is, where do we think that we are oppressed or chained to something that we're not actually chained to? If you look at the imagery on this card, there's shackles, but those shackles are actually not attached to anything. They're self-limiting beliefs. Beliefs are just stories that we tell ourselves over and over again. Doesn't make them true. So this Devil card appearing in the unconscious is shaking these tremors from beneath our feet. Mother Nature herself is shaking off and letting go of the illusion, of the fear, of the core wounds of humanity that we've been alchemizing, that we've been reincarnating, that we've been going through over and over and over again since the beginning. Our gift that comes from the Devil becomes awareness, because this is when we actually shine light on what it is we think that binds us so that we can free ourselves from it. You know, I've shared about before, I'm over 4 years sober from alcohol. Alcohol wasn't a problem for me until it became a problem for me. And I recognize that alcohol is not a problem for a lot of people. But for me, stepping up in my unconscious, it started to become a sickness. It started to become this limiting belief that made me believe that I should live smaller, that I shouldn't live out my fullest purpose, that I should compromise, that I should settle. And I became attached to these lower planes of existence and ways of being, moving through suffering instead of through bliss and ease. By freeing myself, liberating myself from alcohol, I got to see, oh wow, alcohol was one tool that came through this fear structure that I had. And once I released the alcohol, I got to become really highly aware of where that devil is still playing out in my unconscious. For me, it's especially around this idea that maybe I don't deserve peace. Maybe I don't deserve all the beauty that life has to offer, because at some point along the way, I started dimming my light and believing that I was less than. So this eclipse season, this Virgo season, these practices of devotion, of cultivating peace from within, is also setting myself free from any of those continuing to linger around belief structures that just don't support me being in my fullest expression. Today we've got a Leo moon. I love when we have a Leo moon. It gets me on the microphone, it gets me sharing, because that's my soul essence. goes beyond the ego. And it wants to free others by shedding light on our blind spots. If you've had the gremlins come in, maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's your job, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's something else, but if you've had the gremlins start to come in, that says, you know what? This may have served you for a bit, but I don't think it's going to serve you from this point forward. Can you release it? That's a lot of shadow work to begin to unpack and excavate and notice. Can you? Can you cultivate the peace that comes from liberating yourself from any self-imposed beliefs that make you feel that you are a victim to life? So the querent this week, which means how do you think about all this? You show up today as strength. So you show up today in this reading as courage, as compassion, and as inner mastery. Again, this Leo moon reminding us that we are ascended masters here now, practicing the tools that we've learned from lifetimes past. So like the Leo moon, strength reminds us that peace is not our weakness. It's actually the lion's heart that's being held with grace. And the imagery, although it changes depending on which deck that you're using, in the Rider-Waite deck, she's got her hand right in the mouth of the lion. She's taming the lion. Courageous, brave, not feeling outnumbered, not feeling victimized, oppressed, or weaker than the lion. That's our invitation this week, is to remember how strong we are through our ability to cultivate compassion and peace. So our environment is the Five of Wands. No surprise here that there's friction in our collective consciousness and the environment around us. We hear competing voices, we hear differing opinions, and we hear the chaos of the transition of the tower falling and the new epoch that we're stepping into. But this card here also speaks of creative tension. Invitation here to recognize that through conflict, new solutions can be born. We will all experience the tower falling. When you buy a house and you realize that the house has been eaten by termites, you don't slap a coat of paint on it and call it a day. You gotta take out every infested board. And you have to rebuild from the ground up. And that's what we're literally doing. I love to hear the analogy. I think it was Richard Rudd that said it. Maybe it's somebody else, but we're in this Merkaba, flying through space, and we are building our spaceship while we fly through space. That is no small feat. So can we be compassionate while we recognize that all of us have outgrown the old operating systems and we are stepping into the new one? There might be a little glitches here and there. It might not feel totally comfortable. We might not feel completely confident right in it right now, but we recognize that this is part of the evolution, is outgrowing the old environments to step into the new one. Our hopes and fears is the magician. So our hope is that we can channel all of our will, we can gather all of our tools, and together we can co-create a new reality. Our fear is that we're not powerful enough, or that we're not strong enough, or that we're not competent enough, or that we're not enough. You know, our fear is that maybe our gifts won't be recognized. So this Gene Key 6 reminds us that our true magic is how we weave peace amidst the polarity. We're not playing the black and white game. We're evolving beyond that to see the spectrum that's here. So we take it in. We alchemize it. This doesn't mean that we suffer all the time. We can witness and compassionately send our love to the suffering. And we can choose to cultivate peace within us when we see the suffering. Maybe we put on a music or a song and we dance to it, or we sing to it, or we bang our drum to it. And we restore peace within us. Maybe we do yoga. We get on the mat and we stretch our body. We cultivate peace within us. We are the magician. We are the dreamer. We are the writer, the co-creator of the story. So what is the story you wish to tell? Our outcome this week is the Hanged Man. Our resolution this week is to surrender. This week, we are invited to take a shift in perspective. Just like the equinox balancing day and night, we too are asked to see with new eyes, to pause, to receive wisdom in the stillness. Peace actually comes when we stop resisting what is. We struggle when we're in the resistance. When we surrender, we're in the peace. So this spread really mirrors the dance of the week that we have coming up. The eclipse. The eclipse, as we know, shakes things up. It's like turning a switch, a light switch, on and off, powering things on and off. Of course, it's going to come through with the tower. The shake up. And then we have the equinox as we step into Libra season in the next week, which is all about balancing the light with the dark. The equinox is the portal where we have just the same amount of daylight as we have of darkness. We come to balance. We see this through the Hanged Man. This is also our invitation to harmonize through conflict by choosing peace. We've also got the energy coming up from the Five of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. Even the Knight of Pentacles shows us that we are in a slow process of rebuilding. So what an interesting perspective when on one side of us the tower is falling and all that no longer serves is crumbling. And from the ashes the phoenix is simultaneously rising. Peace is being restored on our planet, and it begins with us. So today, I'm sending you so much love. May you find peace. May you know peace. May you be peace. May you share peace. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be safe. May all beings be free.